All right. The Hangouts is now live. Let me just pause it on the other end before I hear myself double speak. But I don't see it. It's not live yet. Hang on. There's 5 people watching. Pause. Okay. Did I pause? Yes. Okay. Hey guys. I'm back on my Wednesday night live stream. I'm very sorry about the temporary break. I was at the Dr. Jordan Peterson show last Wednesday, and I did record and document a bunch of things. I'm yet to make a vlog. Sometimes your personal life gets in the way. The week before that, I had David Egan, but the week before that, I was meant to have Johnny Moore on, and he came on, but I was having mic issues. But he's back. We've made amends now. Say hello, Johnny Moore.
G'day everyone. How's it going?
You're so Aussie. I love
it. Yeah, bloody oath, mate.
Bloody oath, mate. Oh,
yeah, glad to be here with you, dear.
Oh, good. I love you very much, and I'm really glad you're here. I'm really excited to see you here. So today,
the 2 kinds.
Yes, today our subject is Emma Eros, collectivism, and just collectivism in general. I actually did a video on it not too long ago, called individualism versus collectivism, and I feel like we who are conservatives and the leftists are guilty of collectivist thinking. What are your thoughts on this subject as a whole?
Well, yeah, mainly leftists. They basically judge, like, if you go to a rally or anything, what sort depends on the politics. Hang on.
That's all right.
Yeah, just depends on it depends on the politics and that. If it's a right wing or a conservative or a patriot rally, the left will collectivize and say that all people that attend are fascists and Nazis, when that's certainly not the case. Because there are people out there who are good folks that I've heard about, and I look at all sorts of politics as well. And yeah, they collectivize on that level, and then they collectivize a lot of, like, mainly people of predominantly white heritage, of European heritage, as basically like angry white men, bad guys, oppressors, and people who discriminate all the time. But there are still those on the far right as well that have collectivist views also, and believe that that, like, or even like idiots out there who think that all, like, black guys are criminals and all that, when
absolutely.
Well, yeah, but still though, you got to admit though, a lot of people of mainly African appearance, they're still committing crimes statistically a little bit more than the average like Australian, predominantly
averages. It's about averages, statistical averages.
Yeah, statistical averages. So
but that's what people find difficulty to get their head around a lot of the time.
Yeah, exactly. So I judge basically on an individual level. Like I always like see what the person does, and then I judge. I just don't judge him immediately yet. Like, not so fast. Like,
this is called individualism.
Well, yeah. So I understand why some people are collective sometimes on the collectivist issue. Say, like, mainly in Islam. Now, not all Muslims are bad, of course not. And like, I do have some Muslim friends that are very, like, patriotic and very pro-Australian. But these terrorist attacks and everything else going on around the world, knife attacks against police officers, civilians, all in the name of Islam. Well, it keeps happening from them. It keeps happening from people.
It does, which is why we collectivize them.
Well, yeah.
Because it's a statistical average.
Well, yeah, collectivizing on that level is it's understandable. Logical? Yeah, it's logical and understandable in a way. Like,
absolutely.
Absolutely, especially with all these terrorist groups and everyone coming around the world and that. So it kind of makes sense to collectivize on them, because if you do, then then you're just making sure that it won't happen again. Like, you don't want a terrorist attack to happen again because it's coming from people of like Islamism, like Islamists and radicals. But yeah, I understand it in that regard. But then again, yeah, not all Muslims are terrorists in that, and they are extremists, but they still do it in the name of Islam and in the name of the Quran, though. And we've got to just acknowledge that. We can't be politically correct about it. We just got to acknowledge it. That is a fact.
Yes, sorry, well, I didn't want to interrupt you. It is a fact. And so my issue, I think, that I have with the people on the right and the people on the left, and I'm happy to call out my own. It's not an issue for me. If someone on the right is doing the wrong thing, I don't mean someone in particular, but like doing something at large, generalizing a group of people, of course I'm going to call that out. And just like I would call it out on the left. Yeah, for example, the St Kilda rally, there was an individual doing that salute, but it wasn't really a Nazi salute, and all of a sudden everyone ran with it and said it was a Nazi rally. It wasn't a Nazi rally. That's moronic to say that, and that's a form of collectivism, and the left loved to jump on it. But we do it as well. And when I say we, I don't really know if I'm necessarily right, as in like people like to say, oh, she's alt-right or she's far-right. Certainly I'm a conservative. I've always said that.
Absolutely.
And
I've noticed.
yes, I think we both are conservatives, but my views definitely are, I took a test actually, and the test said that I was moderate right. And I was like, that's interesting. Yeah, moderate right. And I was surprised because I'm so hard line on things like abortion. But anyway, sorry, I'm going off on a tangent.
All good.
Yeah, but I'm a conservative, and I don't like it when people on the right, like you said, automatically say that all Muslims are bad, or all Africans have a proclivity to crime. This bothers me because I have friends who happen to be African, and that's where we maybe do the wrong thing, because statistically, on statistical averages, we know that there is an African gang crime problem. That's just a statistical average. And my friend who happens to be African, his name is Kwaku, acknowledges this. He said it on my live stream. He goes, yes. So is he being an Uncle Tom? Is he being racist towards his own people, or is that just a fact?
Well, that's just a fact. If anything, the left will call him an Uncle Tom for that. And if anything, they're the racists in that regard. And no one talks about it. No one gives a crap. So, isn't that just hypocritical or what?
Oh, it's definitely hypocritical. So this brings us back to the issue about Islam, though, because that's sort of what we're going to mainly talk about today in terms of the topic of collectivism. Obviously, not every Muslim is bad. We know that. But what is bad? Like, that's such a strong term. What is good? Like, good in the Bible and good in the dictionary is moral excellence. Really, no one is morally excellent. I'm certainly not. I'm not good, and I do a lot of bad. Sorry?
We are born in sin and we die
exactly.
in sin.
We are born in sin. Oh, I love talking to fellow Christians.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But we all do have morals, though. And we all do believe in something and a higher power and a greater cause, though.
Well, atheists don't. Atheists don't believe in a higher power.
Nor nihilists.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, like, nothing just happens. Like, yeah, look, I don't want to get off topic here, but I believe in destiny as well. It's all part of a plan, and maybe this was destined to happen, this interview here, for example, but we all do have our own destinies in a way, and my destiny was to become a proud Australian.
And you are a proud Australian. And you are, and you do good. So with this whole Islamic thing, we know for a fact that not all Muslims are bad. So it's a really stupid sentence to utter. I feel dumb saying it because we know, but the Muslims that I admire are, for whatever reason, considered by extreme people on the right and leftists to be bad Muslims. For example, the Imam of Peace, Imam Tawhidi.
I love the Imam of Peace. I love Imam Tawhidi.
I know. He's my friend. I get to call him my friend.
At least you call him your friend. I want to meet him myself. How did you guys meet anyway?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Oh, I remember. I saw him on The Current Affair, and I was like, oh, this guy is so smart, really, really smart, and unlike any Muslim I've ever seen in my life. And then I hassled him on Twitter for ages, and then he responded and followed me back. And then I started asking him questions about the Shah of Iran in the 70s, because Iran was, so we're going on another tangent, but Iran was a really good country, economically speaking, back in the 70s.
Back when it wasn't Islamized, basically when Sharia law wasn't introduced into the country, and then the actual Islamists took over.
Yes, because it was a secularized country. It had a Shah, an emperor, a royal family, whatever you want to call it. And so I asked the Imam, I said to Imam Tawhidi, do you believe that if the Shah was still around, that that Iran would be a good Muslim country, not like it is today. And then he responded saying, no, I don't think that's possible. It was always going to be overthrown, blah, 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 blah. We started a conversation like that, and eventually he's like, I can't keep typing to you. Let me come on your channel. And I was like, yes, come on my channel. So it was really good. And that's how we began our friendship. And then since then, like, sometimes when he's in Melbourne, we'll catch up. Yeah. So maybe next time he's in town, I'll get you to tag along if you want to.
I'll have to remember that.
But anyway, the Imam Tawhidi.
I think he joined. Didn't I hear that he just
Rebel Media?
Rebel Media. Yeah.
Yes, that just happened a few hours ago. I just literally shared that on my page. I wrote Imam Tawhidi and my cousin Emilio Garcia have become contributors to Rebel Media. I'm so jealous, but like they're such good people. Them. Yes, good on exactly. Them. Good on them. Yeah, I love it. I love it when the people that you're around start like becoming successful. Even though it leaves you behind, you're kind of like, oh, they're doing so well. I'm so happy for them. It's really good stuff. It's really incredible.
I understand.
Yeah. But back to the subject.
In the end, you get there one day.
Yeah, I think if we just keep working at it, we'll be all right. It's a slow growth.
Absolutely. If you have a dream and you want to do that, dreams do come true in the end. Is that
you have to work for it. The government won't give it to you.
Absolutely.
I'm not a socialist.
You work for it. You got to be patient for it, and that's the hard part. You got to be patient.
Oh, you do.
But you just don't give up. That's the one thing. You never ever give up. Persistence, resilience, and confidence is what helps you win in the end.
You're so cute, Donnie.
Thank you. Those are the 3 keys in life. Also getting along with those who also love your country as well, or basically working together as a team, teamwork, and organization. Organization is what brings an entire group of those together, and if anything, it gets the job done.
Yeah.
Us talking together right now as individuals, we're doing a good job, I think. And as you said, it'll help your it helps your channel grow, and then it keeps on growing and growing in the future, and then you get there.
You're so cute. I wish you were a couple of years older, then I could marry you.
No, you're too kind, dear. You're too kind. If I was about 10 years older, I'd date you myself. Yeah. Bit embarrassing over the stream, but
you're just my little brother. Okay, we're off topic. Okay. So Islam. Not all Muslims are bad, and this brings us to the subject of Emma Eros, who has been really hassled by many people on the right and on the left, saying, oh, you can't trust her because she's a Muslim. She shouldn't be led into one nation. What? Why? Because she happens to be a Muslim. That's so stupid. I don't understand that. She's proven herself to be a conservative. She's proven herself to be not on our side necessarily. I don't like using that term, but you know what I mean? But she's that. So people who are conservatives or claim to be conservatives, like Avi, and Avi does a lot of really good work, despite the friction that exists between he and I still think, and I will always say this, that he's an incredibly motivated individual, and he works really, really hard. It's like he doesn't have an off switch. He's just
sure. I see that myself, and
yeah, he's a gun.
Absolutely, even if you don't agree with him like 100% of the time, which pretty much not everyone in the Patriot movement does with him, but yeah, he's still part of the movement as well.
He's a gun and he's motivated, but I don't like the comments he's making on Emma Eros. What are your thoughts?
Oh, my thoughts on Emma Eros joining One Nation? Well, Emma Eros, I've looked into her a little bit more. She seems like a fairly nice individual, and she acts like she has Australia's best interests, but I've also seen some footage in that. Like, I sort of understand and get why some nationalists and people on those on the right and that are a bit skeptical.
That's what we're here to talk about. So talk about the negatives. Yep.
Yeah, they're skeptical about it because Pauline Hanson, she's sort of playing the identity politics. Like her and their party, like now they're just basically saying, look here, we got a Muslim. We'll let her in. We're not biased against Muslims. We don't hate Muslims.
Absolutely.
And if they hire another group of people or anything else to their party, that's just playing identity politics, and then you're falling into the politically correct mess. I mean,
that's what the ALA wanted to do with me.
Yeah.
Did you watch my video about the ALA?
Yeah. I watched a video about the ALA.
That's all right. We won't get into that. Yeah. But the point is that you're right about identity politics. That's exactly what's going on. But that doesn't mean she'll be. But that's irrelevant to my point. My point is that her Islamic ideology doesn't consume her, and like that other woman, Sharia woman in what's her name? No, an American, but yeah, Linda Sarsour.
Oh, Linda Sarsour.
Yeah. Emma Eros is not Linda Sarsour. Emma Eros is not Yasmin Abdelmajid. She's very different. So she may believe in God as I believe in God. She doesn't believe in God. Sorry, I don't believe the gods are the same. She believes in Allah. I believe in God. But that doesn't mean that she will let her religion or her faith infest her decisions in politics. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, to be frank with you, I do, like I said, I do have a couple of like Australian Muslim mates, but they're quite patriotic as well. And they do agree, and they do point out the negatives in their religion as well, because they recognize Australia is a country built on Christian values.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, and they recognize that. And so yeah, they basically like they want to stop Islamism like that getting into, and they have some patriotic, like some right-leaning views as well. And they're not like others. Like they sort of, one of them sort of a couple of them are sort of similar to Emma Eros's points and standards. And even if she may not like know everything, like all the verses in the Quran, like her book.
I don't know all the verses in the Bible, and I love Jesus.
Well, yeah. But still, though, like, yeah, on a collectivist level, they just like, I don't think like people are happy because she's a Muslim and they're worried that they're going to play identity politics. I understand if they're worried that they're going to play identity politics like the left do. But, yeah, but I also think that you should give like Emma Eros, even though she's a Muslim, you got to give her a chance, because if she's saying she loves her country and she wants to make better in terms of crime, the economy, and deal making and all that, and helping our farmers and raising the stakes here and there, and getting off regulations and tax cuts, then that's fine by me. I mean, like, yeah, I believe in giving people a shot, no matter what. Like, if they have a criminal record or they have a history from a culture that's basically like as violent as Islam is, a little bit more than Islam is more than Christianity and Judaism, which I believe, because
a fact, a statistical average again.
Well, yeah. So I just reckon like she's only one of a few, so I reckon we give her a chance. And if she screws up again, you can always kick her out in that. I mean, like, she's one person, and what harm could she do to the rest of to the heart of Australia's national identity? And there are other patriots out there that support her on this as well.
Oh yeah,
I mean, like, yeah, I've seen such figures such
Christopher
as
Shortis, Baden.
Well, yeah, I've heard about.
Who were you gonna say?
I think I was gonna say I don't know. Someone like Baden or something.
Yes, Baden Motti. Yeah, he's definitely an advocate for Emma Eros. That's true. And Logan as well. Logan Spalding.
Oh, he supports her as well.
Well, he likes her. Yeah, he supports her. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's nice. I'm neutral on the matter, but in all aspects, like in the big picture, I do support her on this as well. Like, I'm willing to give Emma a chance. Like, if she loves her country and she'd put that before her own, like, religion, like Islam, like, I don't care if she practices Islam. It's just that she can't let it influence Australian culture, Australian life, or in public, and that you either contribute to our Judeo-Christian values or not, or you just get out.
Let me ask you a rebuttal question that one would mention in a debate.
Oh, look at the kitty cat.
Sorry. Oh, she's so cute, but she's now clawed onto me. That's all right. I'll let her stay. This is a question that I think many on the left, and that I will ask it because I think it's relevant, would say, is it okay for a Christian to allow their Christianity to dictate their politics, but we're saying no to Emma Eros, a Muslim, from doing it? Is there a double standard there, or do you think it is justified because Australia is based on a Christian Judeo foundation?
Well, that's a bit of a tough question. Like I totally get that this is a Christian foundation and that, but I believe, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, in my opinion, I think Christianity should always remain prominent in that with political figures or anything else in politics. As long as you look, like, yeah, if as long as if a Muslim lady, for example, is a minority or something in Parliament, but she's still a voice and she does it for Australian values, then yeah, I wouldn't care, as long as they don't as long as it doesn't over increase over Christian politicians, as an example.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, there should always remain more Christian politicians, or basically people that aren't people that aren't contributed or connected to the traditional Australian way of life.
Yeah. What about someone like Julia Gillard, who was our former Prime Minister and happened to be an atheist? Now, her atheism actually didn't really play a role. She was a bad Prime Minister because she was just a bad Prime Minister, and maybe because she had a vagina.
You
But
have to tell me twice.
but to her credit, I don't think her atheism, the ideology or whatever, I know that each atheist is an individual and that they don't like to be lumped together as a community, even though there are communities for atheists. So that in itself is a flawed argument. But she happened to be an atheist and the country was not run very well. But her atheism, to her credit, wasn't wasn't corrupting the laws of the land. She was just a bad prime minister because she just was. She happened oddly to be not anti-gay, that's not the right way to say it, but she was not pro homosexuality. So I found that unique. Anyway, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts about an atheist prime minister, for example. Well,
say Andrew Bolt. We know Andrew Bolt, for example, is someone who loves Christians and Christianity, but is not a Christian himself because he just can't bring himself to do it. But Andrew Bolt says a lot of things that I agree with because he's conservative. If he was prime minister, I would be okay with it. So parallel that with what I said about Julia Gillard. What are your thoughts?
Well, first off, before I mention Julia Gillard, I want to say I agree with you on that one. If he loves Christians and he loves the traditional way of life, even though he's not religious, then it wouldn't bother me as much. Yeah, it's their beliefs in that, but at least he recognizes that everyone here is Christian and it should remain that way majority and forever. But anyway, Julia Gillard. Well, before I got into politics, but she was already in Parliament from 2009 to 2013 or something.
Oh, I don't remember, but Oprah came. I remember Oprah was in town when she came.
Don't get started with Oprah. That's a whole different story.
Oh, I know, man. I want to make a video about Oprah and how much I used to respect her and how much I think she's part of some weird agenda that I can't put my finger on. Anyway.
What, like a Hollywood agenda or something?
I don't know. I don't want to use the word Illuminati, but I think something in that sphere. But I mean, I don't believe in the Illuminati, but something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you. Anyway, Julia Gillard, before I was into politics and that, I still when I was a little kid, when I was a knee high, I always liked waving the Australian flag. I always liked I went to Ballarat once on a little school trip when I was at a Catholic school, and we got our own little bit of gold there. We studied up Eureka history there. We went walking around these towns, and we dressed up in some old-fashioned clothing from the 1910s or even before that. I enjoyed it and I love it. I'm a fan of old-fashioned and that. I'm a traditionalist.
Yes, as am I.
And yeah, I'm a traditionalist conservative is how I identify in politics.
Maybe that's my title. Because I used to say I'm a libertarian conservative, and then I realized I'm not a libertarian. I can't be a libertarian because if I'm a libertarian, things like Google, I have to be okay with things like Google that surpass power anyway. So now I think, traditional conservative. Although according to the test, I'm a moderate conservative. Sorry, I'm talking too much and I haven't let you finish.
Hey, no worries. Like I said, I'm a traditionalist conservative, and up until when I was a kid, when I wasn't involved in politics, I only heard about Julia Gillard as Prime Minister. But even though I wasn't in politics, I didn't agree with what she was doing and that. I heard those that are close to me. Those that are close to me didn't agree with what she is doing because they're center-right conservative in politics as well, or some of them just aren't even politically motivated at all. But as I got into politics, when I officially got into politics, or when I fully understood the system, I looked at the Prime Minister Julia Gillard, and I completely disagree with everything she's done. Some people say
Sorry, someone wrote in the comments about you. Let's make this fun. And every time he says, before I got into politics, take a drink.
what is it, a troll or something?
No, I think he's just no, it's a harmless joke. I just think it's funny because you have said before I got into politics a lot in the last, let's say, minute, and I think it's funny. No, keep going. I just thought that was funny. I thought you'd get a nice.
No worries. Anyway, as I studied up more about politics and I learned a little bit more, I completely disagreed with Julia Gillard, and I thought that she should completely stay out of politics. She was basically like, in some sort of way, in my opinion, the Hillary Clinton of Australia, I think.
Yeah, maybe, but like Hillary Clinton is hated for a reason because she's actually evil, whereas Julia Gillard is not evil. She just doesn't appear to be that bright. I don't think she's stupid. I don't think Julia Gillard is stupid, but I just don't think she's particularly I don't know. I just don't know whether the whole prime minister thing was a good move for her. But I don't think she's stupid. Yeah. I just don't think, I don't know how to put my finger on what I think of her.
Partly, I'd say maybe she was a little bit intelligent, don't get me wrong. She was a little bit intelligent, but she was not the best, and I don't think she ever will be in Australian history and that. Like, at least she's out, and I'm happy about that. Like, I don't agree with her. I didn't agree with Kevin Rudd into politics and everything else. But I just don't like current politicians right now in general. In basically everyone, it's common. Almost the entire Australian people, the people of Australia, they don't even like politicians either because they're basically in it to justify their own wages. They don't really care about like our farmers. They don't care about like keeping our values and keeping our culture alive. And I think they're too scared. They're too scared to be on a side in politics when they can't even when they don't even have a good plan of their own. It's basically rinse and repeat over and over again. Basically the same with Indonesia, or basically giving more money away, spending it on equipment that could have been used for better use or something. But look, they're not the worst, but they could be better. They could be better.
Definitely true. Do you think, and I don't mean to be severe against my own sex, and I don't like it when people say that I'm a gender traitor. That really pisses me off. Some of my friends have even said that, and I'm like, why? Because I defend men. That makes me automatically hate women. That's moronic. But are any of
they're going to call you a gender traitor for it?
Yeah, a gender traitor. I've seen that. I've seen that line thrown at me. I've heard it.
I understand your friends can have opinions in that, but to say that you're a gender traitor or that you've been brainwashed, for example, or that there's no helping you or we're done, that's not what a true friend does. And in my opinion, like, I don't think you should go calling them out just because they don't understand like your whole side in politics. And
my friends have no idea about politics, and when they try to have an opinion on it, I'm like, you say you're not interested in my politics, yet you still have an opinion on my politics, yet you don't understand politics.
Yeah, I know.
Pick a side and stick to it.
It mainly happens with people that aren't politically motivated, or that actually have views or aren't motivated, like don't completely understand the whole system, what is going on in the culture war or anything else, or even in politics in the political scale right now in the 21st century.
Yeah.
It's basically human nature nowadays in politics, I'm afraid.
That's definitely true.
Yeah, a lot more people have actually voted than like pretty much almost the entire population back then, and they actually gave a damn in that.
Yeah. Well, what I was getting at was that how many female politicians currently are any good? I'm not trying to go against my own gender and say that they're all bad. Like if Ann Coulter, she's not here. If Ann Coulter was to become a prime minister of Australia or something in America, I'd have her back. I'd totally support Ann Coulter. And actually, before President Trump was President Trump, I didn't want President Trump. I think that surprises a lot of people. I wanted Dr. Ben Carson, who is a neurosurgeon. He's African-American. He's a born-again Christian. He's the one I wanted to win the presidency. He didn't win. And the other person I wanted to win the presidency was Carly Fiorina, who used to be the CEO of the company that makes printers and cartridges, Hewlett Packard.
Well, yeah. I've I think I've heard of Carlia Fiorina, or is that her name in the United
Carly
States?
Fiorina. Yeah, she was the only
Yeah.
female Republican candidate to make it into, again, and also another Christian. So these are the people that I really, really liked, and they didn't win. And then I was like, okay, I'm on the Trump train now. But the point of me mentioning that is that there are women who would be good in politics, or who can be good in politics, but none of the ones here in Australia so far that I'm aware are any good. Pauline Hanson needs a bit of tweaking, and Emma Eros has a lot of potential, but we're yet to see it. So like, let her grow and make her mistakes and make her successes, and we'll see, I suppose.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything bad come out of her yet.
Neither.
So yeah, we'll just wait and see what happens. But in the meantime, if she's described herself as a conservative, and a lot
She's
of
definitely
conservatives seem to
conservative.
be patriotic and love their country and actually show care for it. I'm sure other sides of politics do in their own way, but I see more from the conservative side and some people on the right, and I see from the right more as patriotism and putting national interests first, in like from what I see lately. But yeah, Emma Eros is like, basically she says she likes Australia and doesn't want Sharia law introduced. So yeah,
And she's really
I'll
pretty.
accept that.
Yeah.
Good thing.
What about the Governor General? I forgot her name. I think she was a good.
Maurice Payne, or Maurice Payne or something.
Yeah, I don't think I had a problem with her. She seemed normal and okay.
I thought the same thing too, actually. But
Yeah,
pretty much, I think she's a bit of a leftist herself. I think
she could be, but that doesn't mean she was bad at her job.
she looks like a feminist, don't you think?
Well, maybe I'm thinking of someone else then. The Governor General. Do you know who the Governor General is?
The Governor General. You said she's a lady, right?
Yeah, an older lady. Well, at least
with
I'm
red
thinking
hair,
of someone
with red
during the
hair,
Julia Gillard
glasses.
days. No, during the Julia Gillard days.
Oh,
Forgot her name. This is bad. That doesn't matter. Like, I'm not. I haven't really prepared too well, because I've been dealing with a lot of stuff lately, so I haven't prepared this live stream as well as I normally would. But I am thrilled to have you on, because I wasn't able to have you on the last time. Look, you can see my collarbone because I've lost like 4 or 5 kilos. How cool is that?
Good on ya. Just be careful so you don't get anorexia. It's bad for
I
you.
won't.
Good on ya. I'd go to the gym and I'd know. Trust me.
Oh, fair. Yeah, I'm not an anorexic. I would never get anorexia. Have you seen? Not that I get into YouTube drama, but have you ever heard of Eugenia Cooney?
Eugenia Cooney.
She's a YouTuber, really skinny, like on death's door skinny.
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
I'll link it to you later. Like, I don't watch her stuff. I have no idea about her channel. I don't watch her stuff, but there's a lot of other YouTubers making videos about her, and she's skeletal. Like, her, it's really bad. I feel sorry for her. There's something wrong with her, and I hope she's okay. Yeah.
If you make it sound like there's something horrible with her, then yeah, I'd start feeling sorry for her too.
There's something wrong with her. I'll link it to you later. It's really bad, because I would talk about it more now, but like, we're supposed to be talking about individualism and collectivism.
Let's not get your audience annoyed. Don't worry, everyone. We're staying on track.
We're staying on track. What are we on? Hang on. We are on 28 viewers. Anyway, okay. So, in terms of the left and the right, don't you find it yes, the left does it more, but don't you think we should be calling out things like for example, we don't all agree on the right. Some people on the right are pro-choice regarding to abortion. I'm certainly not pro-choice. I'm not pro-choice in any way, shape, or form regarding that. I'm always going to be pro-life, and I'm very hard line on the subject. And very rarely would I say, "Oh, that's a circumstance where it's okay." But many on the right, but we are collectivized as all being pro-life, and that's just not the case. So maybe we, as people who are conservatives, should be a lot more vigilant in our speaking and how we articulate ourselves, and not do the same to the left, because I do it to the left. I do it constantly to the left, because they don't give us that same courtesy. So I often think, well, why give them the courtesy? But not everyone on the left is a moron, and not everyone on the left is unreasonable. I would say just 92% of them are.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that? Like, do you think that's accurate? Like, that we should say mostly on the left or mostly on the right, or should we just say the left, the right?
I'd say no. I just say you should have a reasonable debate and some like on an individual level. You should
But
debate.
they won't debate us.
Hero. Well, if they aren't going to debate you, if they won't debate you in an argument, then who's the aggressor? Then who is the extremists?
Oh, they are always. Oh, see, I'm doing it again. But they are usually the extremists. When I went to the slut walk, and like you see in my vlog, I say at the very beginning of the video, this is a bipartisan event. It's peaceful. Like I actually had that illusion in my head, and then I show up, and then Antifa comes at me, and I'm like, what am I doing? And then the cops aren't doing particularly much, and then they're all saying on the many on the left are saying, oh, look, she's getting scared. You know, she's using the cops. Yeah, I'm using the cops. I'm not a socialist. I'm for. I want the government to help me. I want the cops to help me in this particular circumstance. But yeah, and then I don't know. None of it makes sense. My cat's doing something weird. But yeah, like.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Hang on. So I'll just quickly interrupt you. I think my power might be running out fast. I think my power might on the computer might be running out fast. So do you think we might cut this short though?
Sure.
But I'll still talk about the thing about pro-choice and
That's okay. We can cut it short. We've gone for 35 minutes. Some people go for hours, or for over an hour, and people just don't want to watch anymore. So I don't know if you saw my private message earlier, but I said let's try keep it 45 minutes. So 35 minutes works.
Actually, maybe 40, maybe 35 to 40. 35 to 40 should be reasonable.
Okay, so we can do another 8 or 10 minutes. Cool.
Another 8 or 10 minutes.
So do you want to respond to the collectivism of everyone believing that abortion is okay or isn't okay?
Well, yeah. So
because all of us on the right are not all of us on the right happen to be for abortion.
Yeah, Tommy Lauren is on the right in the United States. She's conservative and she's pro-choice.
She is, and I did not jump on the hate bandwagon when she came out as pro-choice. I was disappointed and I hated it, but I did not attack her. I was like, okay, that's her thought. That's her thought. Yeah,
because overall, she agrees. I agree with her. She's on our side of politics. On our side of politics,
yes,
from Australia to the United States, she's on our side, and all the positives and all the work she does. And all the patriotic work she does outweighs like the cons of her. Like, if you disagree with her, which I personally disagree, I'm not pro-choice either. Like, I'm generally pro-life.
Same.
But yeah, I think we should focus on what the good she's doing, and yeah, we shouldn't be personally basically getting rid of her and dumping her just because she's pro-choice on one thing and that. Basically, so yeah, when in terms of a conservative being pro-choice, not all people on the right have pro-life views as well. Some people are partly pro-life, some people are fully pro-life, some are pro-choice, some are partly pro-choice. Yeah, there's a whole range of things, but it's easy to collectivize, and collectivizing can be understandable in its own way. Sometimes it helps as well, but individualism helps out more, I reckon.
It does, because you're judging people on an individual basis, and the only reason people always say, oh, well, why are you grouping all of these people? Why are you painting everyone with a broad brush? That has been done. The reason we do that, the reason we default to painting everyone with a broad brush at times is because of the pattern of behavior. If one Muslim and then another Muslim and then another Muslim and then another Muslim, and then from 9/11 to now and even before 9/11 keep doing things on behalf of their religion, then of course we're going to end up painting them with a broad brush and say Muslims this. Like, there's no need to say most Muslims this. Like, why do we have to be so careful with our speech? If a statistical average is a thing, then we're going to collectivize. It's just a given. So let us collectivize when it is obvious that we are defaulting to that due to a pattern of behavior and statistical averages.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just yeah, I know. After 9/11 and everything, I personally, I think the word Islamophobia.
It's a made-up word.
Yeah, moderate Islam is a made-up word also, but people just use those terms anyway because they don't have anything else to describe hatred or prejudice of like Muslims, for example, or anything. But I don't think Islamophobia, I believe, is a made-up word. But still, though, some don't hate Muslims. Some do. Maybe it's just because of their culture, and understand because their culture is not compatible with our Western values or in our Western society, and it shouldn't be like here.
It was once.
Yeah, it was
the
once.
Shah of Iran. The Shah of Iran made it happen, but he was completely secular. a secular Muslim, which again might be another made up term, but he somehow managed to make it work for the time in which it existed.
Absolutely. And even more, actually, Muslims back then even agreed and loved that way. They were happy with, they were completely fine with
They
their
were.
lifestyle. Until now, you see all these like Muslim women taking off their hijabs and protesting it there, like out on the streets
Burning
of Iran.
it. Yeah, it's really good.
Yep. Then they go to jail or they get even beaten up afterwards.
Yeah, but you're right though. The current form of Islam cannot coexist with the West, and it never will.
Oh, absolutely. And in my opinion, I think, do you personally see also that, do you know there's two denominations, like main denominations of Islam, basically like
Sunni and Shia. And
yeah.
the Sunnis hate the Shiites, and usually, and I could be wrong, and I don't mind being corrected on this. Usually, it's the Sunnis who are killing the Shiites.
Well, yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that one. You're correct. And
okay.
My Muslim mates, for example, I have every other mates out there that are like they're a small minority. Everyone, so don't worry. Shit, playing around with you if you're that. Yeah, never mind. Anyway, so yeah, the Shias. The Shiites. So
yeah, it's Shiites. It's the same thing. Shiite.
Yeah.
It's the same. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't like Sunnis either, and because the Sunnis are basically like they're hardcore traditionalists. Like they're basically trying to be the perfect, most traditional hardline Muslims out there. And so basically, anyone who isn't Sunni Muslim, they basically discriminate against or kill anyone there. And I think Sharia law, Sharia law allows that in that. So like Saudi Arabia, for example. But again, the media won't talk about it because they're worried it's going to stir up hate and division in Australia for the most part. So, so yeah, I think you just got to call it out for what it is, because we do have a problem right now with Islam and basically like hardcore Islamists, basically like with Sunni Muslims, mainly, that's the thing, mainly. I'm not trying to be collectivist here, but mainly on their level, they're worse than the Shias in my views. Like they aren't that different. The Shias and Sunnis ain't too different from one another. They just believe that
it's the secondary prophet
for the caliphate.
Because you have Muhammad, and then so they both believe in Muhammad, but then who came after Muhammad? And it's one of them is
the Sunnis believe it was Abu Bakr, and the Shias believe it was Ali, and they reckon
one is a cousin.
Yeah, the cousins.
Yeah, so who believes the cousin? Who is that? The Shiites or the Sunnis?
I think the Shiites.
I usually know this. I'm so sorry. I'm just not myself.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it was probably just the Shiites. Leave it at that, eh?
Yeah. So yeah, they believe that they don't know who to follow after, and somehow that makes it's really funny because there's a lot of infighting in Christianity. In Christianity, there's a lot of infighting, but what we don't do is kill people.
Absolutely.
You know?
And the Bible doesn't preach out killing people. Basically, like it doesn't talk negative.
Many would say it does.
Jews and what about homosexuals or whatever?
Yeah, that's Old Testament. It's Judaic. It's irrelevant.
Yeah, it's irrelevant, but it's still part of the Bible. But
yeah, but it's in the Old Testament, and it wasn't a commandment by God. It was a law that was enacted by the Jewish people at the time. It was a law, but that they made. It wasn't God saying, "Can you please kill gays?" I would love that.
Well, yeah, even though it was even though it spoke out against homosexuality, it didn't say kill the gays. There's a reason why everyone's just against it, because like from their point of view, from a Christian,
I think it did say kill the gays. It didn't say that, but it said a man shall not lie with man, and then I don't know. It's in Leviticus, the book of Leviticus.
From people who are very, very Christian, like they're trying to be like very, very good Christians, or that, or just like hardcore Christians, or that are very, very, very much against gays or something. I think it's mainly because they believe that God like created man and woman to create babies, and since like man and man can't create babies and woman can't make babies, that sort of makes sense though, right? If you think about it, God made us all in his image, and that's why there's two genders and they make a baby.
No, there's 76 genders, Johnny. Get it right.
What are you, Lacey Green? Give me a break here, woman.
I was just kidding. But the point that I was trying to raise, was that in Christianity, you have, let's say, Anglican, you have Presbyterian, you have Pentecostal, you have Baptist, you have what I am, which is non-denominational, which means I don't pick a particular sect. You have all different kinds of Christians. and none of them agree, but none of them are actively going out of their way to kill the other denomination. Whereas in Islam, unfortunately, that's exactly what's happening, and not just to their own, but to gays and to Jews and to apostates. Whereas we don't do that. If someone in my family became gay or left Christianity or became a Muslim or became an atheist, I'd be sad. I'd be like, how come you're not a Christian anymore? Like, there's nothing better than salvation. Like, I would totally be sad about it, but I wouldn't disown them and I wouldn't kill them. That's stupid. I love them. They're my family.
Well, yeah, true.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, even if you are, that can be very disappointing, though.
Of course.
But if you also take a gamble that love somewhere in your heart exists and do a loving act, and if it makes you happy about it, then you just express it and show that you still care for them to yourself. Like, you tell yourself that you still love them, that you care about them, even though you won't agree with them, and that you basically got to think to yourself, you can be the better person for it. And
absolutely.
And basically, yeah, you probably won't ever agree with what they are or what they do, and you don't have to. And I support that. But
and they probably don't agree with Christianity. That's okay. Hey, stop it. They're allowed. They're allowed to disagree. That's fine. That's perfectly fine.
Well, yeah. Like, yeah, that's why it's a free country. Everyone deserves the right to have their own opinions as such. But yeah, I just think they should be respectful in terms of being a Christian country and all. Then yeah,
exactly.
In my opinion.
Well, we'll leave it there so you don't run out of battery.
Yeah, probably about 2 more minutes.
Okay, so do you want to keep going for 2 more minutes?
Oh yeah, so
okay.
Yes. Okay, 2 more minutes. Just so if in case there are people that still want this to go on for a little bit, just a little bit more, 2 minutes. Starting now. Okay. So yeah, collectivism, yeah, it can be a bit mixed sometimes, but mainly down. But
yeah.
Like individualism sort of goes up, but it can be mixed as well, but gone up. Like both of them have their faults as well. I mean, like individualism is basically, you're talking to one person and you don't judge an entire group of people because of what happened then, because there's proof of that. Not everyone's like that as such, but on a collectivist level, it probably guarantees your safety, and it probably guarantees the safety in that, say, such as like, do you know how some people like want to like put a ban on like Muslim majority nations, such as like President Trump did, or Fraser Anning's calling for? Well, yeah, it makes sense in that sort of regard. But then again, not all Muslims are bad, but I understand why he's saying that. And it will still, though, if you look at the big picture, though, the cold, hard truth is it will keep the peace.
Yeah. Well, I think overall, the best way I can sort of summarize it is to say, on average, collectivism, not on average, it's a fact, collectivism equates to leftism. Individualism equates mostly to the right. And the reason I say that is because the second someone, say in Antifa, diverts someone like Shane Hunter or someone like Jeremiah, they are automatically hated by Antifa simply because they decided to start thinking for themselves. They are treated as, let's say, someone in Islam would treat an apostate to their religion like, oh, how dare you leave? Or in Scientology, the same thing happens. You leave Scientology and all of a sudden you are considered a suppressive person and you're not allowed to communicate with your family anymore. This is an act of collectivism, and I'm not for it.
Yeah, me neither. That's why, And basically, Kim Jong-un sort of does a similar thing, the North Korean dictator. Like, if someone does something wrong, their entire family gets blamed for it and put in death camps, and that's like concentration camps. That's scary. That's scary, and that's just absolutely awful to hear when you think about it.
Very scary, very awful.
That's why I lean to the individual level. Like, I judge on an individual level, no matter what race or what creed they are, as long as like you have a debate and you have a discussion about it. That's a fair go. I believe people deserve a fair go.
Absolutely. And even with Christianity, people will probably be like, what a hypocrite. She's a Christian. Doesn't that make her collectivist to a degree? Perhaps, but I still have to make up my own mind about what I read, what I believe about God. So there's a level of collectivism that exists with being of any faith, but I still have the powers and the agency and the autonomy to read something and make up my own mind about it. And so that's I think the difference.
Absolutely. Okay, dear. I think we're going to have to end it there because it's literally
Sure.
our right now. But yeah, thank you again for having me on your live stream. I'm not going to be involved in I'm not going to be involved out there in the political thing for a while now. So
I
I
know.
think I've got some other things to take care about. You all got things to take care about. We all got a job.
The secret's safe with me. But when you are back in the when you're back on the scene, happy to have you on my channel if I'm still doing that. And we'll catch you later.
Thank you very much, dear. Thank you again for having me on. And once again, you are too kind.
And you're beautiful. See you later.
See you.
Bye. All right, guys, I'm out. And oh, my cat, what are you doing? What's up? All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I didn't expect so many viewers today because I have been so absent, and I'm really sorry about that. I have a Jordan Peterson vlog to put up at some point. Hopefully I get around to it, but I won't have time to make it this weekend. So anyway, love you guys. I'm just going to read the comments before I go, see if there's anything worth responding to. Next stream is next Wednesday. I don't have a guest lined up. Kenji, do you want to be my guest for next week? Next Wednesday? We can talk about your photos and how you get interviews with everyone. Respond to me, Kenji. Respond, Kenji. Maybe? I'll see. Okay, cool. All right, I'm out with that. Australian meditations. I'll talk to you in private because I don't think I can have you on my channel for obvious reasons. But I love everyone and I love you too. All right, I'm gonna bow out. Bye, guys. Good night. God loves you.